Good morning. Welcome to day 3. I think I'm live. I'm just waiting for my Facebook to catch up so that I can see your comments. Welcome to day 3. Hopefully today we've got a better connection. I know for some of you the connection's not been great, but thankfully the recorded videos, the quality's good there. So can always catch the replay. All right, day 3, 9:02 a.m. here in Newcastle. A little bit cloudy today. I can see there's 2 of you there. Welcome, whoever you are. Let me know. Comment to say that you can hear me well and see me. Let me know where you're coming in from this morning. And let me know as well, how have you been going with the workbook? How have you been going, particularly with what we covered yesterday, which was all about your niche? Hey, Carly. Thanks for tagging Diana. Hopefully she sees the notification and can jump on live. How about you, Carly? How have you been going with the niche work? Have you had any breakthrough realizations? Hey, Diana, welcome. Hey, Shell from Canberra. Oh, would it be getting a bit nippy in Canberra at the moment, wouldn't it? One of my best friends in the world is from Canberra, and we used to travel down there for Easter when we lived in Sydney, and yeah, run raucous in Canberra. And I always said to her, Easter's the latest in the year that I'll go. Like, it's too cold beyond then. Gets quite crisp. Good morning, everyone. So for those of you who are on now live, tell me, how have you been going with the niche workbook? Because I know we're moving on today to signature program, and you may not be crystal clear on your niche yet. And obviously this is a very brief 5-day event. So we do need to keep, oh, lovely and sunny. Yeah, good. Oh, getting cool at night. Yeah, it is a really nice time of year, isn't it, this autumn? Hi, Mariana, welcome. How have you guys been going? Tell me about the niche work. As I said, you may not be crystal clear, and we do need to move on because it is a 5-day event. There's only so much time I have, and I kind of want to give you guys a bit of a taste of everything to sort of really get those creative juices going and get you seeing the possibility of having a program and having a program in the way that I like to teach it, as a hybrid model and a really high-end package that is sort of, if you could create the best service ever to serve your clients and to solve their problem, what would that look like? So that's what we're going to cover today. Walking my dog while listening. I love it. Multitasking. Morning, Heidi. How are you? Hey, Annie. Awesome. Great. So there's quite a few of you on live. If you're catching the replay, please remember, as you have been doing, hashtag replay so that I can really know that you've all seen the videos and make sure that everyone's found where they are. Mariana says, getting there with niche. Still think I need to be more specific, but we'll get there. Well, you're in my mastermind, so we will 100% get there, and a lot quicker than if you were trying to figure it out on your own too. So don't you worry about that. It does take a bit of digging. All cool. Okay, so all the comments about niche are coming in. So before I start on signature program, let me just recap and see where you're at. Hey, Janet, how are you? Carly says, I've realized I really enjoy all of the spiritual work, and I really need to find a way that I can work that into my signature program. I'll work it out, lol. But that was my realization last night, that what I do will definitely have to incorporate that 100%. Your signature program is your unique method. And so whatever you think, whatever skill sets and modalities and tricks of the trade you have in your arsenal, you get to use those to help your clients to transform. There are new rules. You don't have to only do a program one particular way. You get to literally, and I said this the other day, and I'll say it again because we're talking about signature programs today in particular. But when I say you get to package up your expertise, you get to package up everything, like even your life experience, even your travels, even your, knowing other languages, or if you're a, I don't know, stand-up comedian, throw some jokes and humor into your signature program. Hey, we know laughter's the best medicine, right? So anything goes, as long as it's all in there for a pure purpose of helping your client to transform. You don't want to throw everything in there just for the sake of it, but if it's going to help with that transformation, it gets to go in. So that's the difference. Chris says, chilly in Melbourne. My niche work has been interesting. Seems to be heading in a slightly different direction than I expected. Not sure how it's going to unfold just now. Well, that is exciting, and I'm glad, Chris, that you're really open to see where it takes you. Hi, Luann. Good morning. Carly, so not niched yet, but we'll get there. Of course you will. Like it was a day ago that I got you to fill out that workbook, so it's going to take some time. You're so individual, Carly. That's right, totally. Thanks, Diana. Yeah, and Chris is also liking that spiritual side of it. Yeah, well, we were taught, I know if you did naturopathy, at least in Australia, we were taught body, mind, and spirit, right? So body and mind we kind of cover, but spirit is often forgotten. So we get to help people with that too. We're holistic. All right, so let's get going. So today is day 3 where, you know, I've set a bit of a challenge for myself. In about half an hour, I'm going to help you put your signature program together. Well, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to get some of it down, and I'm going to give you some really great tips on how to structure it and some food for thought. But just know, don't expect too much of yourself. Again, like your niche work, creating your program is a process. You're going to come up against challenges and hurdles, and that's okay. But today is going to really give you a good kickstart and a good understanding of the process in a whole, I hope. So hopefully you've got day 3 in your workbook, your signature program. So we will go through that, and I'm not going to leave the workbook till the end like I did with niche. We'll dive into that as soon as we can. But I want to cover a little bit about signature programs before we dive into that workbook, just so we're all on the same page. So again, extensive notes, such a nerd. One day this will be, you know, I'll know it verbatim, like a script, but no, I just have my notes there more for my peace of mind. I don't look at but creating your signature program. So as I've sort of alluded to over the last few days, I am all about transformation, and I know you guys are too. We didn't get into this profession just to kind of sort of help people a little bit with 1 or 2 things. You know, we're not about the Band-Aid approach or just symptom resolution. We are about complete transformation and really resolving as much as we can some of those underlying drivers of people's ill health, and also creating habit change and lifestyle change and helping them manage a particular condition better so that they can, you know, #live their best life. So we're all about transformation, right? So because of that, we need to work in programs. We've established that. On day 1, I was talking about a new way of working, and I'm pretty certain that we're all in agreement that the session by session model, unless the client is diligently committing and booking in at least once a month for a good period of time, it's kind of broken in that it doesn't give us enough time to work with our clients. So we know we need some kind of lengthier program or package. So today I want you to really think about your signature program as your unique system or method, your way of organizing your process. That step by step that you take your clients through to move them from problem, point A, where they're in pain, frustration, problem, not knowing what to do, to point, well, Z, I guess, at the end of the alphabet, where they've had complete resolution or improvement or the outcome that they wanted, whatever that was. I'm not talking about you have to cure them of an incurable condition. We know we can't do that. But whatever it is that they want, that transformation that they want, they're the steps that our signature program needs to take them through. So every step of your program needs to have a really clear goal and a really clear outcome or result, so that bit by bit, you know that you're helping your client to change and to move through that process. So a step can't be wishy-washy. You got to know, what is the step? Why is it there? What is its purpose, right? And we'll go into this. It'll make a lot more sense, hopefully, by the end of the training. So the other great thing about having a signature program and that really clearly defined process is when your prospective clients or patients see the solution to their problem laid out like that. So when you're creating your marketing and content and talking to people about your process, they feel really excited to work with you because they can see that you know how to help them. Like you've got the map, you've got the roadmap, and they know they can relax and just work with you in your program and follow the process, and they trust you. So that's very, very powerful way to turn prospects into clients or patients. So your signature program does a lot of things, as well as making it really easy for you to work with clients because you know what you're doing with each person. It also makes your expertise highly marketable. Who would agree? Sometimes what we do and trying to explain the work that we do with our clients, it's not really tangible. Like it's kind of hard, isn't it, to sort of say, oh, well, will you come in for an appointment and I'll give you some advice and you'll take some supplements and then you'll come back and we'll chat. Like people need to sort of get an understanding of what it is that they're buying and what it is they're going to get. And that's what a program can help with. It makes it really easy then for your clients to understand what you do and for them to sign up and hire you to help them. It's a really easy way to take what you're probably already doing with your clients and you don't realize, but put that into a nice organized sequence. It makes it really easy for you to talk about what you do, your clients can understand, and it really has the potential to transform your business. And for those of you who are on the call or watching the replay who've worked with me or they've created a program and it's successfully, consistently signing on clients and they're getting great results with those clients, I'm sure you would agree that it transformed your business. Righto. So in your workbook, you'll see that, actually, we won't go to the workbook yet. Let me give you a bit of a rundown. So when you're mapping out your signature program, you need to work out step by step in order, ideally. Obviously, it's flexible, but for most people, there'll be a sequence of what your client needs to move through from point A to point B, right? Generally, now this will help you, so take some notes here. Most health and wellness, I'm just going to move this here so I'm not looking down so much. Oh, not in front of the camera, Haley. Rookie error. But most health and wellness signature programs consist of these sorts of steps, just to give you an idea. Number one will be some sort of initial assessment or review, maybe some testing of some type. So you'll do maybe an hour and a half initial consultation as part of your program. Like, of course you would. You need to understand the individual patient, right? And you'll probably need to do a particular type of testing that has to do with the problem that your client faces. For example, say your client is that perimenopausal woman who's having some issues with her cycle and, maybe she's got that, imbalance, that estrogen and progesterone. I know it's not an imbalance, you guys get that, but, maybe she's got that, low progesterone at points in the cycle when it should be high, it's waning, it's progesterone, there's some hormone stuff going on, right? So maybe you want to run a Dutch test, or maybe you want to run some hormonal, some bloods. Maybe you want to look at some nutrient profiles and things like that, okay? If you're in weight loss, maybe you want to do some kind of body composition scan, waist circumference, all of those sorts of parameters. So all that happens in that initial assessment. It's like you're doing an audit of her health. Step one, some kind of assessment. Step two, generally they're going to need some kind of nutritional or diet intervention, right? We know, certainly everyone in this program, nutrition is a big part of the work that we do with our clients. So we need to give them some kind of nutrition plan or guidance on the sorts of foods we want them to consume more of. We might give them some portion sizes. We might give them recipes. We want to give them a really clear, maybe meal plans, really clear understanding of the changes we want them to make as far as the food that they eat goes, right? So some kind of nutrition plan and also a treatment protocol. So if you think, say your program is 6 months, you want to give your clients a really clear guide from a nutrition perspective, from lifestyle, maybe supplementation. You want to give them that plan that they follow for the duration of the time that they work with you. Yes, you can tweak things, but they need to know what to eat, when to exercise. You know, if stress management's a big thing, maybe sleep, you're giving them a sleep hygiene protocol. You guys know what you do with clients. Whatever it is that you do, give them that clear plan that they've got in their hot little hands. They know what to do. They love it. And that's kind of laying the foundation for your work together throughout that 6-month period. Because as we know, one of the benefits of working in a program setting is we've got time, and our clients have time to start to see the benefits of eating a certain way long enough to feel the changes, right? Imagine 6 months of them following your nutrition guidance. They're going to get it. They're going to understand how great they feel, right? A week or 2 weeks is not really going to cut it. We know we need longer. So that sort of step 2 is generally some kind of customized plan, treatment plan. Step number 3 is, hey, Catherine. Oh, beautiful. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you popped in. That's great. Step 3 is generally some kind of education and advice around the body system or systems that are most important. Now, that's going to be different for everybody, but there's generally some kind of education piece that we need to show them. Okay, here's what's going on for you. This is why, not the textbook, university degree level version, but enough for your clients to get that understanding so they know why you're telling them to make the changes that they're changing. You're empowering them with some knowledge of what's going on for them. And then step 4, now you can have many more steps than step 4. You might even break some of these steps up. You'll probably add others in, but this is just to give you a framework to start with. Step 4 is support around the pillars of health: nutrition, sleep, stress management, movement. Are there other pillars? I'm sure there are. They're generally the ones that, that I focus on. So can you see how they're the sort of steps that you want to cover off in the time that you're working with your client? Now, when I started my mastermind program, I didn't have this laid out. It's only now, after working almost 12 months with, I think, around 40 clients at the really high level that I work with them in the mastermind, and seeing the different signature systems take place and coaching them on how to create it, and then being with them while they're signing clients onto the program, and while they're, tweaking things to get better outcomes for the clients, I realized that there was a pattern. And then I looked back at the work I had done in my signature programs, in my naturopathy and nutrition practice, and I realized, oh my gosh, my program fit into this model too. So that's why I'm now teaching it, because I think it gives you a really clear starting point. When you're sitting there staring at the blank workbook going, oh my goodness, where do I start? Start with that, and then you can flesh it out. Now, my laptop is humming. I hope that the connection's still good. Does everyone want to just kind of put in a little thumbs up or something if you can hear me and see me okay and we're not going glitchy? That would be great. All right. So now I think what we might do is pop into the workbook a little bit. Actually, no, first I might go through my 4 core framework, just because that's the last little piece that you need to know. All good. Oh, awesome. That's great. All right. Touch wood, the tech gods are smiling on us. Thank you, everyone. Okay. So now my 4 core framework, if you just go into your workbook, so we'll come back to Package Promise, but if you just want to flick ahead a little bit to the page that says, because I just want to give you this information because then you can work on it tonight. The page that's got my 4 core framework. If you want to go to that page there, Hayley's 4 core framework for transformational programs. So that's what I just want to cover off now so that you have that filled out. So there are 4 really important key pieces that your program really wants to cover. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill in the blanks. So number 1 is, you've got your pens ready, education. So just write education here. If you want to write some notes around education, you can. But what you're going to do once you've fleshed out the rest of the workbook, you're going to come back here and just outline how your program is going to make sure that you cover off these 4 core frameworks. So keep the space here blank, put education for number 1, and I think I've given you a page for notes. If I haven't, just on the back page, write some notes now if you like. So number 1 is education. So this is like, what are you trying to teach your client? Now, generally, most practitioners, we're really good at the education bit, like almost too good, like almost to the point where people like tears of boredom or like confusion are rolling down their cheeks because we're like, and then this really cool thing about vitamin B, what are we up to now? B6 is, it's like first year nutrition. My hubby used to pick me up from the train station and we'd drive home for half an hour. It was actually probably really good for my learning. And I would just like dribble back to him everything that I had learned about nutrition that day and how excited and amazed I was. Our clients' eyes are going to glaze over because they don't have the education that we have. So you've got to really make sure that you're being specific and you're curating your education to only those things that she needs to know to help her in her transformation, right? Most clients are good enough with that. Others might want to know more intricacies, and you can have extra handouts and things or direct them to resources if they want to learn more. But what we want to do generally is just think about like this, like what knowledge must she have in order to solve her problem? The poor support team, I know. It's so funny, isn't it? Poor old partners with you, with first and second year students. So things that you will cover off in this education is, what are the underlying drivers of the problem? So not just the symptoms that she's experiencing, but what's the cause of it? Like that's our jam, isn't it? Like we want to educate on, well, why is this happening? Let's look at those underlying drivers. Any myths and misconceptions that you need to bust, okay? Things that work and things that don't. Any important steps or lessons that she needs to know. And then also I think in the education piece, why she needs to know this. Like why are you asking certain things of your client? Why are you asking them to change certain things and to bring in certain habits into their life? Why it's important. So again, while they don't need the whole textbook example, they need to understand the concept, right? Because I think if they understand why, they're more likely to be open to change. Is that cool so far? Education. You guys are all doing this really, really well. As I said, we probably just want to curate it down to just the key stuff. Less is more. Remember that mindset for signature programs? Less is more. Action is number 2. So in your workbook, number 2, God, I feel like a teacher. Number 2, you can write down action. So the action core framework is all about ensuring that your client takes action. It's all well and good for them to know all the wonderful things you're teaching them, but unless they implement them, we know that change isn't going to happen. Same as you guys with your business. You can sit back and know all this stuff I'm teaching you now, but unless you actually take action, nothing's going to happen. So action. So things like, what are the practical action steps that she needs to take? There's going to be several of these throughout your signature system, but what you want to do is build in some kind of way of having your client stay in action, okay? So if you include consults or coaching sessions in your program, make sure that you finish those off with some really clear action steps. It's a really cool coaching technique. So rather than just ending up the session, say, all right, so the things I want you to focus on next for this week are drinking that water and really focusing on getting to bed at 9:30 every night. Then your client's like, right, that's what I've got to focus on. They're going to stay in action. Or give them a handout, give them some homework, something they've got to get back to you, filling out a journal, checking in, whatever it is, some kind of action step that they need to implement. Practical, right? This is the practical part of your program. Cool? Let me know, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you've got it and you're still here and we don't have some weird technical thing happening. Step 3, so here, number 3, you're probably getting the gist of this now, is accountability. I believe that this makes up at least 50% of what our clients pay us for. It's certainly 50% of what my mastermind clients pay me for, okay? We're all great at knowing the stuff. It's not an information or a knowledge shortage that causes all the problems in the world. It's accountability. It's actually sticking with something long enough and keeping on going even when it gets hard. And we know that sometimes it's going to be hard for our clients and it's all going to feel too much, especially after like week, I don't know, 4 or 5, when that self-sabotage tends to kick in. For us as well, but certainly for our clients who we're often asking them to make some pretty big changes. And so we want to make sure that we're keeping them accountable. Okay, so think about when you're creating your signature program, what specific strategies are you going to use to keep your clients on track, hold them accountable, make them show up for you and the community when they're not really ready to show up for themselves, so that they get the outcome that they want. So can anyone think of some accountability measures that you could include? Like, how are you going to build accountability into your signature program? Let me know what you think. There's such a delay on the comments. Come on, Mark Zuckerberg, get your Facebook Lives happening. What would you build in? What accountability measures would you build into your signature program? Can anyone think? I'm going to give it another 30 seconds before I'm not going to tell you. I can coach you to get to the right answer, but I'm not going to tell you. So let me know. What do you think? How are you going to keep your clients accountable for 3, 6, or 12 months? Jeanette says set specific time-based goals. Totally. Then how are you going to hold them accountable to those goals though, Jeanette? You're just going to set the goals and then what? But yeah, that's it. Set some goals. Checklists, yeah. That's a good way to keep them in action. But yeah, checklists for sure. Like, and maybe what's the next layer to that then, Shell? Like, how would you keep on top of them and make them accountable to themselves to actually fill in the checklist? So you could get them to submit it to you once a fortnight or once a week, or take a screenshot of it and send it to you, or share it in a group if you have a group. So kind of really think of like accountability is at that next step, like get them to pop it into their diary, let you know, get them to have an accountability buddy outside of you and your program. Maybe it's someone a friend or a family member that's really supportive, and you set up those checks and balances. But yeah, you're all on the right track here. Diana's thinking of having a Facebook group. Yep, cool. Accountability in the Facebook group, amazing. We'll talk about that as well a little bit more in a second. Check-in calls, yeah, totally, Mariana, absolutely. Having regular opportunities to get together to check in with how they're going, and knowing as we do, our clients knowing they've got to check in with us in a week's time, it's going to keep them accountable. Check in each consult, yep. Submit before next one-on-one, beautiful. Weekly Zoom meeting as a group, 100%. All fantastic accountability measures. You guys have got it. Beautiful. All right. Then number 4 in your worksheet, the number 4 of the 4 core framework is community. This is, again, they're all equally my most important, and this one is as well. So community is so important, particularly if we're working, all of our program is online or part of it is online. And also because sometimes, depending on what your client's problem is, sometimes they can feel really isolated. And so being in a group of like-minded people who get them is really, really powerful, especially when everyone is on the road to change and improve their health. It can be incredibly powerful to build in some elements of community into your signature program. And this is the reason why I love group coaching so much. And the reason why even in my one-on-one work, when I ran my program, across in the clinic one-on-one in that sort of traditional sense, I still built community in by having a private Facebook group. there's other ways. If you don't want to do Facebook, you can, there's other, there's Slack, and there's a few other, even a WhatsApp, just messages, some kind of community, even like getting together once a month at a local coffee shop if it's that kind of program. But it's creating community. They're sharing their journey with like-minded people. It's helping them feel supported and accountable. It's taking a bit of pressure off you as well, because they can get support and insight and amazing realizations from the others in their group. And it also gives them that social proof of, well, it's working for this person, that means it's going to work for me. I can do this. And it gives them that real sense of, oh, well, if she can do it, so can I. Yeah. Shell's saying her concern with a private Facebook group is if there are only a few people in the program, lack of interaction. Well, you know what, Shell? When you launch your program, yeah, it's going to be a small group, but it will grow. Okay, so don't let that stop you. And my kind of spin on that is, well, lucky them. They're in a very small group, and you've got to be in there more often when it's a smaller group, kind of getting the engagement going and showing up for them. And even on a group call, if it's just a couple of people, that's okay. They don't mind. They feel really VIP because they're getting a lot of your time. So they are the 4 core frameworks, okay? So let's go back just so I can show you the rest of the workbook, what I want you to do. There's a lot of homework for you guys with this one, okay? But I am going to go to Q&A before we wrap up today so that, you can get some answers to your questions before you start this. But just to show you, so you go back to the first page of this section of your workbook, which is create your signature program. Sorry, create your program promise. So these first 2 pages, they're kind of a summary. It sort of ties in the niche work that you did in with your signature program. So what I'm wanting you to focus on before you start throwing all the bits of your program together, I really want you to remember and have at the forefront of your mind as you're creating your program, why someone will want to sign up as your client. Okay, that your package promise is all about why. Why is this important? Why do they want to work with you? It's not necessarily about the specific program components themselves. So remember that your signature program solves a specific, tangible problem that your ideal client knows they have. Okay? In my mastermind, I talk about swimming downstream, not upstream. Downstream is when your client, they know they've got a problem, they know it's important to solve, and they know that working with someone like you is probably a feasible way to solve the problem, okay? And then number 2, it solves a specific tangible problem that your ideal client is willing to invest in. If they're not, it's not a big enough problem. Move on, find something else, okay? So remember, those 2 things are really important. And you've probably worked that out a little bit with your niche. So what you do when you're creating your program promise, okay, the core specific reason of why someone's going to sign up to work with you, start by thinking of your ideal client. So on these next pages, I want you to pull some of the stuff you've written for your niche in your niche workbook over into this section. What's the problem they experience daily, okay? What's the outcome that they want instead? So this could be specific actions or expertise, things that they want to know, things that they want to feel, how they want to look, what life looks like. And then what's the cost of them not solving that problem? So if they do nothing, what's the cost of that? Well, their health's probably going to continue to deteriorate. They might keep gaining weight. They might still be bloated and it's going to get worse, and they'll get, more and more restricted with the foods that they don't react to. Those sorts of things, right? What do they need to learn, know, or do? Well, that's sort of the steps of your program right there. And then what's their why? Why do they need this? What's that emotive underlying reason that they need this solved? And then you can just fill that out. My package promise is to help my clients solve the problem of X so that they can outcome, okay? So that takes a little bit of time to flesh that out. Don't aim for perfection. You're not going to nail this in one afternoon. Like, that's not me being mean. It's just reality. This stuff takes time. but at least this is giving you a kickstart and you can keep working on it. And I know that if you create a program and launch it, and you don't get my help, at least it's going to be a decent program and it's not going to be a flop for you. Okay, that would be awful. I want you to be as successful as you can be, because that means you get to help more people and the world's a happier, healthy place, which is what we all want, right? So then we get a big, scary, blank piece of paper, okay? But this is the brainstorming part. So use your favorite pen. And what I want you to do is just dump everything that's in your head out on paper, like a true brainstorm. There is no judgment. There is no, oh, that's not going to work, I won't write that down or scribble that out. Just put it all there. It's all possibility. So get it all out on paper. And what you're doing when you're writing all of that out is you're imagining your ideal client at the end of the time she spent working with you. She's got the outcome. She's solved whatever the problem is that you solved for her, and she's feeling however she's feeling, probably pretty good, pretty happy. So then you're going to backtrack and think, well, what are those steps in sequence that you took her through, okay, or him? How did you thinking of her here? You got that clear picture. She's solved the problem. How did she get there? That's your program. Easy, right? You guys can do this. I'll see you later. No, it's tough. It's the bit that a lot of my, most of my mastermind clients, they need the help with the most. And it's a bit of a dance. It takes time, but you've got to start. So this is how you start. Get it down on paper. Try to keep it to 4 to 7 steps max. So you're going to probably dump everything out on this bit of paper, and then you'll spend time organizing those steps. The post-it note method, if anyone has used that before for creating programs or even presentations, I use post-it notes, or even open up a PowerPoint presentation on your computer, yeah, and just start to flesh it out. Start to screen by screen as a step, and then you can easily move them, right? So that's the digital version of the post-it note method. If you're using your post-it notes, literally like get a post-it note and write the step and then all the scribbles around, your ideas, and put those down on the table, and then you can easily reorder them so that you're getting that clear sequence. So that is how you start to formulate your signature program. And then I also want you to remember the sheet that we did with the 4 core framework. I want you to go to that once you've got your steps outlined and just check in. How are you building in these 4 core frameworks into your program so you know that it's going to cause transformation, which is what we want to do. Now, I've crammed a lot in here. I was nearly not going to put so much into this. In my mastermind program, there's so much more that goes into the signature program module. There's pricing strategies and packaging strategies and a lot more to do with sort of fleshing out your program, but there's only so much I can get across in 45 minutes. So, but I still gave you a lot. So I'm asking a lot of you. I realize that this is probably going to stretch you and you might be a little bit confused, or maybe you're not. Hopefully you're like, yeah, I get it now. Just let me at that workbook. So we've still got a little bit of time this morning. So how are you all feeling? How are you all feeling about creating a signature program, being really clear on what it's about, the purpose, the reason that someone would sign up and work with you? Now's the time to just ask me questions, because we can spend 5 to 10 minutes kind of clearing the ground for you to go and do your workbook. And then tomorrow we can check back in throughout today as well. If you want to post in the Facebook group, I'll be in and out of that. But tomorrow we can also spend some time, going over some of your signature programs. So while I wait for those questions to roll in, I just want to summarize. When we're creating a signature program, if you want to write this down, we're remembering clear ideal client, right? Clear problem. Clear steps that they need to take to solve that problem. And you need to build in education, accountability, community, and action. So clear, 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 and then the 4 core framework. Okay, so remember that. And if you're getting stuck, it's probably because you're not clear on one of those areas. You might not be clear on your ideal client. You might not be quite clear enough on their program, and maybe you don't have clear enough steps. That's all it is. When I'm coaching my mastermind clients, it's all about getting clarity on those things, and then you'll find that it just flows. All right, so I can see some questions coming in here. Diana has said, I was thinking this initially, but people tend to, oh, you're probably sorry, this was an earlier comment. But people tend to think they get more, which surprised me, as Haley said, lagging here. I'm really not sure what you mean, Diana. I'm sorry, I know you asked that 8 minutes ago. I'll see thread. Oh, this is in answer to something else. Oh, that's about Shell's. Yeah, okay. That's about Shell's concern about the private Facebook group. I get it. Yeah, cool. All right. All right, let's have a look what other questions we've got. Luann has said, good. I've been thinking about it so long. I feel like I have the elements. It's more about the refinement. Totally about the refinement. Yeah, it's just, again, it's clarity, you know, it's getting really clear on those areas. Marianne, it feels like this is the only way to cover everything we need to cover with clients in order to see transformation. I'm loving it. I know. I was so excited when I had this light bulb realization a few years ago and was like, oh my gosh, why are we not working in this way? It makes so much sense. Chris is replying to Carly, but your comments kind of dropped off. Beautiful. So, for those of you on live, any more questions? And those who are hashtag replay people today, please type your questions in the comments. I will make sure that I circle back to them today so that you can get going on your workbook. Diana says, this is like we know the information, but just need to collate it so a client can purchase our offering. Yeah, it is. It's organizing the work that you already do with your clients into a format that is really easy for them to understand. I've got a communications degree. That's my background. I cannot help but bring order to chaos. My branding archetype is ruler. So those of you who work with me in my mastermind, we do some assessments at the beginning, and one of those is branding with archetypes. So figuring out your personal brand and which two archetypes you are. You have a signature and you have an influencer. My signature is ruler, right? So I like to bring order to chaos, systems and processes so that life becomes easier, okay? And really a signature program is that ruler aspect within yourself of really you're creating a container so that the transformation becomes easier for your client. You're packaging everything up and delivering it, probably things that you already do with them, but it's in a more organized fashion. It's easier for you, it's easier for them. So Chris says, whoops, I feel like by putting the time to figure this out, I will have something to offer. Oh my God, music to my ears. This is what you guys need to be investing your time, money, and resources in figuring out. From a marketing standpoint, so often I see practitioners putting beautiful posts on Facebook and doing lives and reels, but there's no clear offer. I look at websites day in, day out, Instagram feeds, Facebook feeds. I see what's out there and I look at it and go, oh great, I know what type of practitioner you are, but I don't know what you offer. I don't know what your offer to market is. I can't see clearly who you help and the problem that you help them solve. I don't want a long list of everything. I want to see really clearly. So if I were your ideal client, I can self-select and say, oh my God, she's got a signature program for children with eczema. That's who I'm taking my kid to, right? It's got to really stand out. Yeah, an offer, a really clear, tangible offer is really, really important. So that's your package promise is kind of part of the work that you do to get really clear on what your offer is. What's your promise? What are you going out there to people and saying, I can help you with this problem? Yeah, metabolic balance, just what you're needing. So look, metabolic balance, the last few years of my practice, I used metabolic balance. It's a wonderful personalized nutrition plan. It's a tool, right? It's not your program. It's how, what I used to think of it as how you present your nutrition offering to the world. But you still need a program around that. You still need an ideal client, a clear problem that you solve for them. Chris has said, I think that's why I'm so reluctant to keep doing random posts. Yeah, look, it's hard, isn't it? You can keep doing your posts, but if you're getting crickets, or they're not converting and you're not getting that influx of inquiries of people wanting to work with you, it's probably because it's not clear what it's about. This is the foundational work that, module 5, we're not even going to get into marketing, unfortunately, in this 5-day workshop, because I just don't have, there's not enough time to get you guys there. And more important than marketing is the foundation of what your offer is, your niche, your signature program, how you're going to help people. Unless you're really clear on that, marketing just isn't going to be as effective. And marketing becomes far easier once you know what it is that you're offering and who you're helping. Yeah. Oh, I love that you guys get this. I love that you're seeing beyond just being able to help your clients better and seeing how this fits into it's really the foundational piece of your business is your core signature offer, your method, right? Amazing. All right, guys, we're right on 9:45 or 9:48. So if you've got any last minute questions, pop them in. But I think we might wrap up because I've given you a lot of homework and I'm really conscious that you probably need some time to action that. I will check in with you throughout the day to answer any further questions. Tomorrow we're talking tech, and I have a special guest doing a little training. I'm not going to say any more, but that will be really helpful for a lot of you. But we're going to look at tech, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about a really exciting special offer that I have that will be formally announced on Monday, but I'm going to give you guys some hints, and I'll talk a little bit more about my Package and Prosper Mastermind as well, because I've already had some people asking me about that and what it involves. I'm finally creating a proper sales page for it. So see, I have been running this program for about almost 12 months and I still don't have a proper sales page. But I have a really clear offer. So, that's more important sometimes than the things we think are important. Beautiful. You're welcome, Mariana. You have a great day too. Welcome, Shell. Thanks, Diana. You'll be on tomorrow. Beautiful. Thanks, Carly. Thanks so much, guys. I'm so proud of how far you've all come and that you're showing up live and you're loving this and you're getting it. It just makes my day, and I cannot wait for day 4 tomorrow, tech, and then day 5 as well, which will be really, really cool with Aligned Sales Mastery. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye.